so it's like there's something behind.
I'm gonna go for them right there. And noticed this woman again. I asked all of my band members if they knew her, and they didn't, and we were all wondering who she was. If she started to approach us, sitting near the far end of the room, I didn't know her, so I motioned to security to come over.
How he felt lucky that I moved in next door, but whenever he saw me with my husband of 12 years, he gave us the evil eye. He was always nice to me when he saw me coming up the stairs alone, but my husband said he was always unpleasant when he passed a neighbor. One night after we had put our son to bed, my husband and I were watching some TV when we heard a banging on our front door. Not like a usual banging, but like someone was trying to break the door down with a pipe. We called the police since we had no idea who this was, but then the neighbor started screaming. He was screaming how he wanted to kill us all, how he was my true love, and how my husband was my illegitimate love, and how my son was the product of his disgusting love. My husband, being the protector that he is, opened the door and knocked the neighbor's light out. The police came immediately after and arrested him, but to this day, my son has always been very security conscious. One is walking in a baseball jacket, jumper. They're both wearing backpacks. Okay, near Starbucks. Go to the store.
Yeah, but it started this week, a lot less. Right, it's Sanders.
I never thought that he was a stalker. Maybe just a neighbor who was a little invasive, perhaps. He always wanted to know what I was doing. He came by a little too often. I rarely let him in since I was busy taking care of and raising a 2-year-old. So I was usually out at the park or the Met. But I never thought twice about it. It wasn't until my husband got back from tour that his aggression really showed. He kept asking when I was going back to acting, since he was a fan of my theater work. He said some strange things, like how he felt lucky that I moved in next door. But whenever he saw me with my down with the pipe, we called the police since we had no idea who this was. But then the neighbor started screaming. He was screaming how he wanted to kill us all, how he was my true love, how my husband was my illegitimate lover, and how my son was a product of this disgusting love. My husband, being the protector that he is, opened the door and knocked our neighbor's lights out. The police came immediately after and arrested him, but to this day, my husband has always been very security conscious. After a show that we had played in Europe, I was backstage just hanging out with the band. There was one woman whom none of us had really seen before, but I figured she was a fan who had gone backstage. Wanted to make sure that you...
Yeah, I noticed.
But it's good that you noticed, because a lot of people that I've been behind have just been totally unaware, so maybe it's because you're a nanny. But yeah, so maybe that's why. So
well, yeah, it's kind of common knowledge if someone's right behind you and then turns around. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, not too common.